Welcome to this week's episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in as little as 15 minutes to build your dream business. And now here's your host, the Visibility Wiz, Cindy J.
Hi, I'm Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and welcome to this episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in 15 minutes or less to build your business. And today our guest is Carol Ann Desimine. She's a creative business coach and a book mentor. She's the founder of Align, Believe, Create, On Purpose Coaching. She works with women coaches, authors, healers, and service-based professionals, empowering them to align their business with their soul's calling, believe in their value, and express their purpose by creating irresistible offers and writing books. Welcome, Carol. It's a pleasure to have you.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, Cindy J. Thanks for inviting me.
Definitely our pleasure. And to begin with, would you share with our listeners a personal or business challenge that you have to overcome in order to achieve your level of success?
Yeah, so I guess the reason I have achieved this level of success is my resilience and my just my persistence to make things work. Because I've been an entrepreneur for 14 years. Mm-hmm. And when I was making that transition from offline to online to leverage my worth, I had some major breakdowns with situations with clients that were really keeping me going financially. They didn't understand it. It got really nasty, that sort of thing. So, I mean, everything happens for a reason. I'm glad it happens. But there was that period that lasted quite a long time where I was really questioning, why am I doing this? It felt hard because of everything that I had gone through. You hear the breakdown before the breakthrough, and that definitely was the situation. And it really was my persistence, my determination to not get caught up in the fear that was going on and the self-doubt and everything, but to just keep going, saying, Carol Ann, believe in yourself, you can do this, forget about those people. And here I am, still at it.
And I love it because I believe that is the key. I 100% believe that that's the key to success is persistence. Because it's, we all have all these hardships, both personal and professional, that hit us. Mm-hmm. And I think whenever you decide that you're going to do it, and, I used to always tell people, well, I'm either going to keep on doing it till I succeed or die, whichever one comes first. And it sounds like you have that same persistence. And it's so important whenever you have any worthwhile goal to be persistent, because you might achieve it in 1 year and you might achieve it in 10 years. But as long as you never give up and you decide that's what you're going to do, you will achieve success along the way.
Yeah. And it doesn't happen overnight. And I think people need to understand that too.
I have this joke. I always say everybody's an overnight success, because nobody likes looking at all the hard work that they put into it before they quote unquote became an overnight success. Even the actors, actresses, singers, you take anybody, including your online business. People, all of a sudden they start seeing you, you get your business to this point, you start getting clients, people start seeing you, and people's like, this person came from nowhere. But it didn't come from nowhere. You came from months, years of persistence and hard work to get to where you are.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it clicks, right? It's like driving a stick shift. And then, smooth sailing.
Yeah, stick shifts, that's a whole nother story, but we will move on. Carol Ann, I absolutely love the name of your business. So can you explain why you chose the name Align, Believe, Create, what it means to you and what it means to your clients?
Yeah, so this goes back to my story too. I had the breakdown, and then my dad died, and I spent a lot of time, because I was doing branding work, which really put together everything, my education, my experience, But it got to the point where it just wasn't feeling right anymore. And I did a lot of questioning on, what am I here to do? What is my purpose? And really, I realized I wasn't aligned with what I was doing. I really did a lot of work on figuring out who am I at the soul level? What am I here to bring to the world? And the funny thing is, Cindy, I started getting women calling me, asking me about helping them to find their purpose
Right.
instead of branding. So like, okay, well, maybe this is my purpose. So I really understood the purpose, the importance of being aligned with who you are, what you're good at, and what feels good to you. And then, of course, believe, success is what, 90% mindset.
Right.
What they say, inspiration, 10% perspiration.
Something
That
like
is
that.
so true, because it's the self-sabotage, the self-doubts that really keep us from putting ourselves out there and being visible.
Mhm.
And then create. I am a creative, and that really is what I help my clients do in the end. I mean, it is about aligning them with what feels good to them, empowering them so they don't get stuck in their own self-doubt, but then creating something amazing like a program, workshop, talk, or book. So, the creativity and the creation is really where it all comes together.
Yes. So you can share your purpose.
So you can share your purpose, get your gifts out into the world, and impact people.
And I think you might agree with me. I know I've struggled for a long time thinking that, quote unquote, I only had one life purpose or one purpose. But we evolve. And I think throughout our lives, we have many, many life purposes. So when you were branding, that was your purpose at that time. But then as you grew and you evolved, it went into helping other people with their purpose to get aligned with who they are at that point in time. When I started coaching in 2009, everybody kept telling me that I needed to be a divorce coach. I did not want to niche down. I mean, I fought tooth and nail. I was not going to niche down. I could serve everybody. But I finally got talked down to focusing on divorced women or women going through a divorce. And that's what started building my business. But then I also had people say, why are you doing that? You should be teaching people how to do what you do. I'm like, I don't feel confident with what I'm doing yet. I can't teach other people how to build a successful business if I haven't done it before, because that aligned with my values. But I also changed. I went from serving women who were going through a divorce to serving business owners because I evolved.
Wow, that's amazing. And I do say that yes, we're all living our purpose now, whatever we're doing, but we all have a higher purpose. And so when you're growing out of that purpose you're in now, you can feel that something's off, and it feels like a struggle. It feels hard. And that's when you need to go to the next level and really do that exploration to find out what that is.
I 100% agree with you. Lovely, wonderfully put. And so to move on, what do you mean whenever you tell your clients to play full out and to be fully expressed? Okay.
So really, everybody has lots of gifts, right? And we get so caught up in, especially multi-passionates, I should be doing this. I need to do this. Well, no, find that thing that you do really good, get it out there, and then express it. Because unless you really express who you are in some form of, for example, a book is a perfect example, because it's a way to get your message out. So many people want to write a book, but they're not fully expressed until they actually write that book and get it out of them. And so many times it's just the fears or the excuses, fears disguised as excuses, right? Don't have the time. It's not the right time, whatever. I don't know what to write about. So until you start getting that out there and really expressing yourself fully without holding back, you're not really going to be living your higher purpose. So that's what I mean. Just, do it. Don't worry about, what people say. It's your responsibility to really express who you are.
Exactly. I love it. Thank you. And what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see business owners make whenever they start to write a book or they say they want to write a book?
I would say not doing it. I mean,
Mhm.
I put that out there a lot of times, what's holding you back? And it's usually time, but
Mhm.
we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Well, if you want to write your book, just, spend some time doing that every day.
Right.
Or clarity, lack of clarity. But you don't find that clarity until you start doing it. The clarity doesn't, you don't get the clarity and then do it in most cases. Most cases you have to start doing it and then it becomes more clear.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It's sort
yeah.
of what I even say with confidence. And I think, you're talking about being fully expressed and dealing with all those fears. It all comes down to an extent of lack of confidence. And a lot of people go, I'm going to do it when I'm confident. And the whole thing is if you don't just start doing it, you'll never be confident. So if you don't start writing your book, you'll never be confident or clear on what it's about.
Yeah. And well, here's a good point too. When you hire a coach, you get that confidence. That coach, keeps you moving, will tell
Right.
you, this isn't right for you, but this is, so that helps too.
Oh, yeah, completely. I agree. Whether you have somebody who hires you to help them write their book, they are doing it because you're holding them accountable until they get more confident. Somebody who hires me with their visibility, they get more confident with being visible because I am holding them accountable with their visibility. So,
Yeah. And the other thing is,
yeah.
yeah. And so, what's right for them,
Hmm.
what form of visibility is right for them too. Right. So a lot of times I see a lot of people second guessing themselves, but yeah, I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to do Facebook Live, but you know that they're capable of it. So you will push them to become more confident and do it, right?
Exactly. You do need to do that, except for I'm an avid believer that if you absolutely hate something, you shouldn't do it. If you hate Facebook, don't do it. A video, I always encourage everybody because I believe in 5 years from now, 90% of anything or 95 is going to be video. It's just the way we're going. We're, I forget I heard stats not too long ago, but I think it's like 70 to 80% of things that are sold and marketing is done via video. So,
Yeah. But that's a good point, Cindy, because when you talk to your clients and listen to them, if they don't want to be out on video or Facebook or whatever,
right,
then we'll find another way for them, right?
right. If it's a fear or if it's something that they really
Yeah.
dislike, and that's the
Right.
difference. Whenever we're afraid of something, and people could even be afraid of writing a book, they're afraid of being rejected. And I know you didn't say that, but that has to be one of the things that holds a lot of people back.
Mhm.
They're afraid of being rejected. What if I put all this time in the book and nobody reads it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
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 that's then, yeah. Mhm.
go ahead. What do you tell them?
Well, it's really about getting it out of you. You can't worry about who's going to read it. Just know that you're getting your message out there and the right people will find your book and read it.
Yes, 100. I love that answer. Thank you. And Carol Ann, can you share a strategy that our listeners can implement in 15 minutes or less to build their business?
Yeah. I will tell you what I do. I don't know how much of a strategy it is, but I really love email marketing. That's my thing. I mean, yeah, I get on Facebook and I have no fears around that, but I feel really connected to my list. And yes, they unsubscribe and that's fine. But I know that it is a point of contention with a lot of people. Like, do I email them too much? Am I bothering them? Are they going to unsubscribe? Well, what I say is don't worry about that. Do it anyway. It's a way of connecting. But I do spend in addition to my own journaling and, intention setting and everything, that's a strategy. But after that, I sit down on my computer and I just, get in touch with my email list and I'll write a little note to them. Maybe I'll send an email or I'll work on an email that I'm going to send the next day. It really is, I believe, making that energetic connection
Mhm.
and writing from your heart.
And it's always, yeah, the energetic connection and writing from your heart. So whenever you say, before you start writing to your list, do you do anything? How do you prepare yourself to where you connect with your list?
Um, I think that I don't really need to prepare because I get a lot of ideas. And by the time I sit down, I just, it just comes out of me. But I do, I do see who opens my emails. I look at the unsubscribes and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not surprised at that, right? How many things get open. I really do pay attention to my metrics
Mhm.
and to which ones get the most attention and the highest open rates. I really have a pretty good open rate lately
Mhm.
since I've been more intentional, and I clean out my list as well every day. I just get rid of the dead weight. So,
And that's why
so
you have
yeah,
a good open rate, is because you're constantly, and I know there's two thoughts about that. Now, whenever you follow your metrics, do you have a spreadsheet or something you use to uh, to to keep track of them, or are you just looking per se at, I use Aweber, so you're just looking at the Aweber, or do you use another um, email server that might give you the full metrics? Like Aweber, I
yeah.
can't find out where it gives me the whole total. It'll give me for each email I write, but it doesn't give me an average for the month of January or something like that.
Oh yeah. So I just switched over I was with Aweber forever. I love Aweber, but I just switched over to Simplero, which is a little bit better in giving the metrics. I can look at my emails and see, um, it just gives a little bit more information. So I
Mhm.
look at that list and, pretty much every single email is over 10%. And that's the thing, 10% is not bad,
Right.
so it's usually between 10 and 20. Um, so I just look at their metrics. I don't really get,
Yeah.
too caught
Okay.
up in it. I do love Aweber, but when I switched over to Simplero, I cleaned out a lot of names,
Mhm.
and it just they seem to track it better, or
Mhm.
I don't know what the difference is, but there just
There's
seems to be a
something.
difference.
I know with tracking, it's what I do, for the open rates, what I pay attention to the most for my open rates is the subject line. It's like some subject lines, I'm like, what subject lines are getting me the higher open rate? And write more subject lines like that. So I think I love that you talked about that you not only write, every morning with the emails, but you take that second, that maybe 1 minute to sit there and look at what is being opened, because I would imagine that's what you do too. You're looking at your subject line, so what are my people interested in.
Yeah, and I could tell you what is a good subject line,
Yeah, what's
because
a
I
good
just wrote this. My word for 2020. Every
oh,
year when I say, my word for whatever year it is, that gets a really good response, like right away.
mhm.
So when you add a little bit of intrigue, then that's
Yeah, I
what
always
more.
think it's intrigue. One of my highest open rates ever was, my subject line was, he tried to sharpen his finger. And
That's a good one.
and it's like my grandson, I think he was 7 or 8 at the time, but he watched this cartoon with somebody who had a sharp finger and was poking everybody. So he put his finger inside of an electric pencil sharpener. It didn't turn out too well. And so while I was talking to him, I told him, I go, the next time you get a bright idea, maybe you should ask mom and dad about it first, right? And I thought, as entrepreneurs, we do that so often. We jump with our ideas so quickly without taking a few minutes or a day to really say, is this a good idea? So I related it to my business, but that was always my highest open rate.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Cindy J, because the more that you can write from your heart, the more people will be interested in opening your emails.
Right.
I get that all the time.
Yeah, so, but definitely, and like I said, I really love that you did that. And I know that you have an absolutely wonderful gift to share with our community. So can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's called 5 Steps to Becoming a Published Author in Only 20 Minutes a Day. And it's from my Just Do It Right Now program, which is based on writing your book in 20 minutes a day, but it provides the first 5 important steps that once you do these 5 steps, you'll be able to like claim it as being an author, because you'll just find clarity on ideal reader, your title, the content, transformation. What's the other one?
Mhm.
A message. And
Yeah.
those are the things that people struggle with, like who's my ideal reader? What's my message? But when you go through this playbook, then you should find clarity on whoever goes through it should find clarity just going
Right.
through those exercises. And I say spend 20 minutes a day, because then you don't overthink it.
Okay, to become the published author. So your gift gives us 5 prompts, 5 questions to get clear on our message and our reader and stuff. And so then I take it after that, then we should spend 20 minutes every day just writing the book.
Yeah. So once you get your outline, and I don't really like outlines, so I have a proprietary process, but once you know the content that's going in there and the structure, just sit down and write for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Most times you want to write longer than that, and it does require writing longer than that. But if you don't take that 20 minutes, then you kind of get stuck, right? So you just got to get it out of your head.
Yeah, and I would assume that's what the 20 minutes is to get it out of your head, and then not worrying about editing. I have a client who's been writing a book forever, literally forever, but it's not a fiction is not true. It's a fiction novel, and
it's fiction.
and
Okay.
and it's interesting because they keep going back and re-editing all of the chapters. And I'm like, you're supposed to write the whole book and then go back and re-edit it. Said, you're never, ever, ever going to get that book done as long as you keep re-editing.
Yeah, and that's my number one rule. Just write. I mean, I do the editing for my clients, but and that's what I say. Don't edit. Yeah, if you're going to, make little tweaks before you start writing the next section, that's necessary. But don't second guess yourself. Again, it comes back to second guessing, right? And getting stuck.
Right, because we're always growing. We can always think of something different to say and just going with the flow. So to our listeners, you want to head on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Carol, all lowercase CAROL. That's biz, B-I-Z, success, N-I-N, the number 15.com/Carol. And grab your 5 steps to becoming a published author in only 20 minutes a day. Because if you've been thinking about writing a book or you want to write a book, this is really going to help you with your clarity. And, with what your message is, who your reader is, so you can start writing your book and get it out there. So, Carol, do you have any parting words for our listeners?
Well, Cindy, I think that what I would like to part with is that there really is no better time than now to really take your business or your life to the next level. And that is the biggest thing that I see with, the entrepreneurs I talk to is, there's always some reason, well, I'm not ready. We're not getting any younger, right? I mean, the longer you wait, the longer you wait for success too. So just do it right now. That's the name of my program, right? Whether you do it RIGHT or WRITE, but just do it right now. Whatever is in your heart, just go for it.
Exactly. So otherwise you're gone forever and you never get it done. So I love that. Just do it. Do it right now. And so Carol Ann, thank you very much for being my guest today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's show, feel free to share it with your friends. Everybody's got a book out there, and Carol Ann really shared some words of wisdom that you can help share her message and her wisdom with your friends. You'll also want to hop on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Carol. You'll find all links from today's show. You'll be able to re-listen to Carol's words of wisdom, catch up on past episodes that you might have missed, and be sure to grab your 5 steps to becoming a published author in only 20 minutes a day. That's bizsuccessin15.com/Carol. So be sure to tune in to Biz Success in 15 next week for another great episode. Big hugs.
You've been listening to Biz Success in 15. For all links mentioned in today's show and to watch or listen to previous episodes, visit bizsuccessin15.com. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for another amazing guest.